Are you still manually adding finish tags? Are you still adding your finish tags to your elevations and manually fixing them? No, please stop. Here's what you want to do. Use your AutoCAD block and done. You can quickly add many pointers as you wish and move them around, or if you need to, you can also flip them as you wish. But how do we do this? Well, this is what today's live show is gonna be about. But before, let me tell you, welcome to the Lazy Arquitecto show, where we teach you AutoCAD so you can save time, effort, and money. So before we start today's live show, let me go to the chat and say hi to you, ask you how are you today, and where are you connecting from, right? So while you do that, before also we create this awesome blog, let me again introduce myself for people who don't know me. My name is Irving, and I do these live streams each Sunday at 10 a.m. That is Pennsylvania, the United States time. So, if your time is important, consider subscribing and joining each Sunday because we're gonna be here live. All right. Um, so yeah, how are you today, and where are you connecting from? So, for instance, I am right now again in Pennsylvania, the United States. However, I'm originally from Peru in South America. So, while you let me know on the chat, how are you today and where are you connecting from? I'm gonna mention a couple of things. So, the first one is that we're gonna have a contest today. Yes, Um, yeah, so the contest is very straightforward, very simple. If we reach 10 likes on today's live show, I'm going to give away the dynamic block that we are going to create today, the one that I just showed you. So, yeah, very simple. So, let's see if we can do that contest today. Again, if we have 10 likes only for today's live show, then we're gonna give away this dynamic block. All right, so that's the contest for today. Uh, Usually I give my dynamic blocks to people who support my work, right, either on Patreon or here on YouTube as a YouTube member. But let's see if someone can gain this block today for free in our contest. Again, all we need is 10 likes for today's live show. So let me go to the chat before we start today's live show. And we have Rola on the chat. Hello from Greece. Hi, Rola. Thank you for being here today. I'm very happy because I see you every week on our live streams. So thank you again uh, for joining us. So Rola is also saying, "How are you?" I'm fine, Rola. I'm very excited for today's dynamic blog that we're going to create that is going to help you simplify your life and also work more efficient, right? So that's the whole goal of our live shows. So, yeah, thank you, Raula. So, let's keep moving on the chat before we start today's live show. Kumar is also on the chat. Hi, Kumar. Thank you for being here today. How are you? You're asking. I'm fine. I'm very excited, happy to be here again with a new dynamic blog that we're going to create, and hopefully you find it very useful. So, we're not only going to create this blog, right? But I'm going to show you the best practices and some tips and techniques on how to create blogs or dynamic blogs in general, right? So yeah, that's the goal of the channel. I mean, we're gonna utilize today's blog, but again, the idea is to give you some important concepts and techniques. So when you create your blog, so you already know how to do them. So, um, so I think we're ready to start today's slideshow. As always, you can interrupt me at any time during my presentation or during the explanation of today's video. Yeah, so you can interrupt me with your questions or suggestions, and I'll be able to read them. Okay. All right, we're ready to start. Again, don't forget about the contest. If before we finish today's live show, I'm gonna check if we have 10 likes, I'll be able to give away today's dynamic block to one of you guys that are connected. So let's start. Okay. So again, please don't ever do this. Utilize individual items whenever you want to add your finished tags. So let me erase this. We're gonna create today this dynamic block that again will simplify your life whenever you want to add your tags or in your elevations. All right. So let me show you how do we do this. So over here, let's go over here where I have this tag already. It's simply a rectangle, as you can see over here, a polyline uh, with some letters, nothing fancy, but here's what we're gonna start with. All right. So let me see this. This is a regular text. However, let me get rid of it. I'm gonna simply delete it because we're gonna add a smart text here, an attribute. So let me show you how we create a block with an attribute, all right? Very simple. And so again, that's my geometry. But I'm gonna create it in a way that it follows some standards, right? Some CAD standards, especially regarding sizes or text and so on. So, and for that, I'm gonna use a chart that I think I already shared with you guys in past videos. Is this chart is basically um, Autocad text size chart for civil as well as for architectural in imperial units. So over here, I'm gonna create my block in a one inch equal 1 inch scale. So that means the real or true scale. And my notes can be either 1/8 or 3/32. But the office where I work use 3/32. Both will work. So I'm gonna use that for my text, 3/32. All right. So let me go over here and I'm going to add a attribute definition by using the ATT definition and pressing enter. Oops, sorry. I'm going to use the ATT. Oops. Let me try again. ATT and div definitions. Oops, what is ATT? Yep, ATT definition. So, oops, what's going on here? So let me try it again. Yep. So ATT, that's the command. Sorry. So let's use that. Let's click on it. And we're going to have a attribute definition dialog box over here. For this specific example, the options that we need is only these two, lock position. This means our smart text is going to be locked in one position with the block. So if we move our block, our attribute can also move. Um, so next we're gonna click or check the specify on the screen so we can place our attribute in the correct location. So our tag is gonna be for a finish tag. So I'm gonna say finish, and next for my prompt, I will say finished material. For my default, here is the finished material that we use the most in our drawings. So in my case, it's gonna be ifs number one. So that's the default that it is gonna pick. For the justification, middle center will work the best. And then again for my text height, 330 seconds based on my scale chart. I said I'm creating my block at 1 inch equals 1 inch. So that's 330 seconds for my notes. All right. So this way, whenever I scale my block, I will always have it correctly. So all I had to do is click OK now. And then following instructions on my command line, it says specify start point. So of course, I'm gonna place it exactly on the center by clicking over here like so. All right. So now that I have all of my geometry ready, I'm gonna make sure all of them are on layer 0, right? So that's very important. This is a one of the most important concepts that you need to follow whenever you create a block. Place them on layer 0. So that's correct. All right, so let's create a block now using the V shortcut, V and enter. And over here, I'm gonna add my name for my block, right? So I'm gonna call it exterior finish and tag, like so. Make sure the base point to specify on the screen is checked, and then and also open in block editor is checked, so that way we can start adding some parameters and some actions, the ones that I use to save some time in AutoCAD. So I'm gonna click OK. It says exterior finish tag already is defined. That's why I already created it. I already have it on this drawing. So what I'm gonna do is, just for this example, I'm gonna say 2, so I can show it to you how I did create this block, right? So let's click OK. And now, following instructions again, it's asking me to specify my base point. And a strategic place for my base point is gonna be over here on on the bottom of my tag, just because whenever I double click on my attribute to edit, to add a new finish material, so it's nice and clean and it doesn't have any base point on it. So I'm gonna use it over here. So I'm gonna click on it, and of course that's the default. That's okay for now. So I'm gonna click OK, and boom. So I am right now over here automatically on the block editor environment, right? So here's where we're gonna start adding some parameters, some actions to make this block into a smart dynamic block, right? That can save us some time. So one of the first things that I'm gonna add to start doing this is a visibility state. So in order to do so, first we need to open our authoring palette from the ribbon. So let's click on it, and it's right here. So let me put it to the side by right clicking on it and say anchor to right. So once I do that, it will go over here on the side. So let me put it there. So again, let's go to add our first visibility parameter. So let me go over here under parameters, and there is one called visibility. So let's utilize that. And following instructions, it says specify parameter location. So a strategic location, it would be over here at the top. So I'm gonna hover over this midpoint and move it up. and I'm gonna move it up about 0.1 and press enter. So that's now my visibility parameter. But this has a exclamation mark. So if you hover on it, it says only one visibility state defined for block. It's basically giving us a warning that we need to add more visibility states, right, in order for this to work, because there is only one right now. So let's do that. Let's go to the ribbon, and there is a visibility state option. So if we click on it, we will have this following dialog box. So that's the first visibility, is what we're seeing right now. So let's rename that. So let's say something like first 0, 0, and then maybe something like pointers. So let's click and create a new one and leave visibility of existing objects. That make sure that's checked. And I'm gonna add now a visibility with one pointer, right? One pointer. So let me click that and let's create one more. I'm gonna do it really quick because it's the same procedure. 2 pointers. Again, make sure leave visibility is checked. So click that, and finally I'm gonna add one more and set 3 pointers. Okay. So 3 visibility states that we created quickly. So let's click OK now. And now we can see that the exclamation mark went away. So that means we are in good shape, but we still need to add a little bit of extra work here under the visibility panel. So first of all, let me go over here and click on it, and let's jump to the 0 pointers, right? So let's click on it to activate that. And you can see that on the 0 pointers, we still are seeing the pointers, which is not right. So there are a couple of options here on your ribbon. So one says visibility mode, and this will leave everything everything on so you can see them. This one will make items visible, and this other one will make items invisible. So let's start utilizing those. So again, at 0 pointers, we wouldn't be able to see any of these, right? So let me select them and say make them invisible. So once I do that, I can see now that I have my 0 pointers and it's actually right. So let's now change to the 1 pointer. So let's click on it. And at this point, I'm gonna hide these 2 pointers, right? So I'm gonna again make them invisible, so by clicking this option. And now it's right. So let's keep working our way down, selecting the 2 pointers. So of course I need to hide one of these now. So let me make them invisible. And so let's now check the 3 pointers. So yeah, everything looks right. But before we move to the next step or to the next parameter in action, I always like to test my block. This is a good practice. So if you find a mistake, you already know where it is set. You already know how to fix them quickly. So let's go on the ribbon and click test block. So once we do that, we will have again our block, and we now have this grip over here, the visibility grip, right? So this visibility grip is going to give us some options again. So let's click on it, and we have many different options. Let's try the 1 pointer, and you can see it's right there. So let's keep trying 2 pointers now. That's right. And finally 3 pointers. That's correct. However, these pointers right now, we cannot move them around, right, as needed. So let's quickly fix that. So let's go and close the test block editor from the ribbon. And now let's jump to our second parameter and action, which is gonna be the, so let's go to our uh, block authoring palette, and it's gonna be the parameter point is right here. So let's utilize that. Just click on it, and again, following instructions on the command line, it says specify parameter location. So I'm gonna add my parameter location by snapping on it or hovering on it. Once I see the endpoint on my leader, I'm gonna click on it, and then finally I'm gonna move it to the right and maybe type something like point 0.1 and press enter. So that way I placed my parameter point like so. So I need to repeat this parameter. So I'm gonna simply press enter instead of using it from the palette, right? So I'm gonna press enter and again specify the point parameter. So I'm gonna hover over this, and once I have my endpoint, gonna click and point 1 to the right like so. I'm gonna keep quickly adding this parameter because you already know how I'm doing it. So I'm gonna click point 1 and press enter. Right, and finally I'm gonna add also one more point parameter here, so whoever use this block have more flexibility. Sometimes we have crowded drawings that might need to also stretch this part. So I'm gonna add it one more by pressing enter, and I'm gonna click here and then move it up point 1 like so. All right. So now you can see, oops, before we proceed, we have a comment on the chat, and it is Felicia Hernández. Buenos días, hijo. Bien con tus proyectos en vivo. Felicidades. Felicia is basically saying, good morning. I wish you the best with your live shows. Congratulations. Thank you, Felicia. Again, that's Spanish. That's my second language, Spanish, since I'm from Peru in South America, for people who don't know. Thank you for being here, Felicia, and let's keep moving. Um, you will notice that we still have those exclamation marks, and if we hover on it, it says that no actions associated with this parameter. So it is because we need to add an action, right? So let's go on the authoring palette again, and let's go to the actions tab. And here we're gonna add a stretch action. So it's right here. So I'm gonna click on it, and following my instructions that says select parameter. Of course, I'm gonna select this point parameter. So I'm gonna click on it, and then it says specify first corner of stretch frame. Okay, so as any as the regular stretch command, we need to specify the stretch corner like so. So it's gonna be for this specific leader. And finally says select objects. So my objects are gonna be basically the same selection. So I'm gonna click like so, and finally press enter. So once I do that, you can see that my exclamation went away. However, before I start adding more actions to these other ones, I'm gonna test this block, right, to see if it works. So let's go to the ribbon and test the block. So let me change the visibility to the 3 pointers where we have the action, and you can see that now I have one of these points. So now I can simply move them around as I wish, and point to the correct items. All right, so that's good. So I'm gonna close my block test block editor, and I'm gonna add the same actions to the rest of my items. So again, actions, stretch, select my parameter, and then the crossing window, and finally select my items like so and press enter. All right, so I'm gonna repeat this process by pressing enter and simply do it quickly since you already know how to do them. All right, so finally I'm gonna do it on this other one. So I'm pressing simply enter to repeat uh, my action, right? So select my parameter and then crossing window, and finally selecting my object like so. All right, so now that we um, finish adding our um, move um, pointers or point and actions to these 3 pointers visibility, we need to start implementing them on the other ones, right? Because if we change to the 2 pointers, you can see that we don't have anything here. Right? So, but we don't need to add them anymore. We already have them. What we need to do is uh, show them on each state of the visibilities. So how do we do that? Let me quickly show you. But before that, we have a comment on the chat from Kumar. Says, sorry to interrupt. I have a question. These leaders are Q leaders or polyline originally before making the block, sir? Please confirm. Sure, that's a great question, Kumar. And I think I mentioned it that they are simply regular leaders. Of course, using the leader command or the Q leader, they are not polylines. Okay, and I can, confirm that with you by simply selecting them, and you can see that it is a regular leader. Or you can, of course, insert them with the Q leader command. They are not polylines. All right. So I think that will answer your question. But that's a great question, Kumar, and hopefully that also can help other people that it's connected, right? So they know that. Thank you, Kumar. So let's keep moving. All right. So we said that. Oops, Kumar is also saying, okay, thanks, sir. Sure. That's the beauty of doing a live show, Kumar, that you can in real time ask your question, right? So you learn more efficient, right? More efficiently. Okay, so let's keep moving. So we were saying that on the 3 pointers, we finish adding our um, move, our point parameters, right? So, but on the, if we change to the 2 pointers, we don't have anything. Does that mean that we need to add again more of these point parameters and actions? Well, no, you don't need to do that. You already add them. What you need to do is show them or hide them accordingly. So that's what we're gonna do. So over here, in order to see everything that we just created, we have again the option of visibility mode. So if we click on them, we will be able to see our point parameters and actions. So now for our 2 pointers, let's start selecting our pointers. So let's click these 2 pointers plus this other one, right? Because that's the one that we're gonna need. We don't need this to show up, right? So, and let's right click on it, and where it says object visibility, we need to say show for all, show for current state. Sorry, where is it? Show for current state. It's right here. So once we click that, you can see now that when I when I turn the visibility mode off, now on my 2 pointers, I will have my point parameters like so. All right. So that's the technique you need to implement, and let's apply them for the next visibility states. For the 1 pointer, so again, I don't see anything here. Let's turn everything on and let's select the pointer parameters that we need. So we need these, we need only these two for 1 pointer, right? So let's right click, object visibility, show for current state, and let's turn the visibility mode off. So you can see that's correct. And finally, for the 0 pointer, that's fine. We don't need to add our point parameters here. So we did a lot. So it's time for us to test this before we proceed with the next parameter in action. So again, from the ribbon, let's test our block and let's see how this is coming along. So I'm gonna change to the 1 pointer. You can see I'm able to stretch accordingly as needed. Let's change to the 2 pointers. Again, I'm able to stretch them accordingly. And finally, for the 3 pointer, I'm also able to stretch them accordingly. All right. So far we are in good shape here. We need to add another parameter in action. So let's close the test block and let's jump over here now to add a parameter which is gonna be the flip parameter. So that way, when we have elevations of buildings, sometimes we need them on different um, places like right or left. So it's a quick way for us to flip our uh, finished tag. So let's select our flip parameter, and following the instruction says specify base point of reflection line. So it's gonna be hovering over here. I'm gonna move it down 0.1 and press enter. And then finally it says specify endpoint of reflection is gonna be down around here. So I'm gonna click, and finally I'm gonna place my label. My label, I'm just gonna put it next to it. Click like so. All right, so that way I keep consistency with the separation of my um, grips in both sides. So now, of course, at this point you already know that this is missing something. So let's add an action. So let's go to the palette and go to the actions tab, and let's add our flip action. All right, so let's click on it, and it says select parameter. I'm gonna select my flip parameter. Of course, it's saying select objects. So before we select the objects, of course, we need to flip everything, right? Even our leaders. So let me cancel this because we are not seeing our leaders over here. So let me cancel this first, and let's change to our 3 pointers, right? So let's change it from the ribbon. Let's select them. So now we can add our action. So you're seeing that since we did this on the 0 pointers, um, you can see that when I change to the 3 pointers now, it goes away. Again, that's not a problem. All we need to do is simply select our parameter and right click on it and say show for all states, right? So now when we go to our 3 pointers, we will see it also over there. So again, we need to do this in this visibility because here is where we have everything basically, right? So let's again add our action. It's gonna be the flip action from our palette. So let's click on it, select parameter. It's gonna be the flip parameter. and now it says select objects. I'm gonna say all, press enter, and then press enter one more time, like so. All right, so let's quickly test this um, before we proceed. And again, test block editor. Let's see, let's select our block. So one pointer, we can flip them like so. 2 pointers, we can also keep flip them. And finally at 3 pointers, it also works. Now, the one small issue I see here is that when we go to the 0 pointers, we actually don't need to have this flip option, right? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna simply hide it for the 0 pointers over here. So that's not a problem. Let's go again to the block editor environment, and let's change to the 0 pointer, and finally select our flip parameter and right click and say hide for current state. So once we do that, you can see that we are now ready to go, right? So far we added 3 different parameters and actions, but before we proceeded, we have one more comment on the chat, and it is Rudra. Hi Rudra, uh, saying keep going. Yeah, thank you for giving us that extra boost, all right, of keep going. Yeah, and thank you for being here today. Also, I think you are new to the channel. So if you are interested on saving time, effort in AutoCAD, we are here live each Sunday at 10 a.m. That is Pennsylvania, United States time. All right, thank you, Rudra. And let's keep wrapping this up. Again, don't forget about today's contest. If we reach 10 likes on our live show before we end it, of course, we're going to give away today's dynamic block. Usually, I only give them away to people who support my work on Patreon or as a YouTube member, but we're going to have today's contest, and let's see if we can give it away to one of you guys also. So Alan, before we proceed, Alan is saying, nice the video. Alan, thank you for your comment, and thank you for being here also. I think you're new also to the show. So I'm glad that new people are finding our live shows, right? That means YouTube is, or Facebook is recommending it to more and more people. So that's very exciting, right? Thank you, Alan. All right, so let's keep wrapping this up. Um, so so far, I guess I think we already add um, all of our parameters and actions to our block. So we already test them, and so let's close our block editor, right? So let's close from the ribbon and make sure you save the changes, right? Don't try to do this fast and then by accident click discard the changes. So let's save the changes to our block existing finish tag number 2. So let's save, and then we will be able to select them, and you can see over here the name exterior finish tag 2, and so we can start testing them like so. And of course we already know that it works because we tested it previously, but just in case, we will test it one more time. So now the last thing we need to know about this block is, right, how to scale it according to your drawing needs. Because again, we have drawings in AutoCAD from different scales. Sometimes we use 1/4 scale, 1/8, and so on. I'm talking about in imperial units, right? But in metric, you might have different scales too. So that's our, so right now it's a one scale. So that means that's 1 inch equal 1 inch. So let me copy this, right, with Control C, and let's try to use it over here. So I'm gonna erase this and I'm gonna paste it with Control V, right? And you're gonna see that it's very, very tiny, again, because we created this at the real size for this annotation, for this tag. So all we need to do here is, what we need to know is, um, go to our scale chart, which is this one. And again, I already shared this with you on past videos. This scale chart for Autocad, architectural, civil, in imperial units. We also shared the one in metric units. So yeah, so that's again based on our drawing scale. So for instance, for this specific drawing elevation, if I go to my paper space, I can see that by selecting my viewport, this is the viewport, and my drawing scale is 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. So that's my drawing scale, 1/8. Again, remember that number, because once we go to our scale chart, we can see that at 1/8 of an inch drawing scale, we have a factor or a scale factor of 96. So that's our number to scale our block. Very easy. So let's go to our block and let's select it and change it the scale to 96, like so, and press enter. And oops, we see our block behaves really weird. Let's undo that with Control C, because we need to add a uniform scale to our block, so we don't have to manually type our scale 3 times. So like so. So that's easy to do. Let's quickly open our block by simply right click on it and picking block editor. And there is an option over here on the properties palette. If you scroll down, there is an option that says scale uniformly, and right now it says no. But if I say yes and save and close my block, so the next time I scale it, I will only have to scale it 1 time. So again, if my drawing scale was maybe a different scale, something like maybe 316, I will have 64 a scale factor. So again, that's easy to do. 64, press enter, and my whole block will scale accordingly. However, I'm gonna put it back to 96 because this is at 1/8. So at this point, I can simply move it around by left clicking on it like so. And of course, I can flip it if I need it. I can change the number of pointers and move them around accordingly. All right. So yeah. So now let me show you a even more efficient way to add tags to your drawings using multi-letters. Wait a second. I already did a video about it. So the video is in our channel, how to create tags with multi-letters. So if you are interested on that, you can check that later. But for now, what do you think about today's dynamic block, right? So let me know on the chat. And while you do that, I'm gonna check our live show to see if we reach the 10 likes that we need to give away this dynamic block today to any one of you guys. So yeah, let me know what you think about today's dynamic block. And also I'm gonna read your comments on a moment, but before, let me check if we gonna have the contest or not. So yeah, so let me see. So far we have 8 likes only, so we're not gonna have a contest. I mean, I'll stay for maybe 5-10 minutes to see if we reach that threshold. while reading your comments. So let's see. So we have a comment from Alan. Nice video. Thank you, Alan. What do you guys think about this blog, right? Do you think it's gonna save you time or not? So let me know on the chat. We have another comment from Kumar. Kumar says, I have another question. If I have text longer than the text frame, that frame scale or adjust automatically like general text frame or not? Are you talking about today's dynamic block? I believe, right? So you're saying if my text, so for instance, if I edit my attribute, right, by double clicking on it, so I could simply, again, you're saying if I have more text, like maybe iFills 1456, I don't know, let's say if you have one code and click OK, you can see that no, indeed, it doesn't automatically, the frame extends. However, we already did a video or a live stream about it, like I was saying, using multi-leaders, and that one indeed uh, stretch the frame automatically according to the text. So you have these two different options of using tags. You can pick the one that you need, but for this dynamic block, usually my finished materials have this number of um, of letters, right? I might have IFS 1 or IFS 2 if I have it on a different color, or I might have, something else. But yes, that's a great question, Kumar. And we already have that video on the channel with the frame that extends automatically to fit the text using multi-leader. So you can check that out later on our channel. But that's a great question. So thank you, Kumar. All right, guys, let me know what do you think about this video. I mean, this dynamic blog that we just created, right? We have 9 people connected on the chat. That's awesome that you are still here with me. That means that you liked what you see. And let's see if we're going to have a contest or not today, right? Again, the threshold was if we reach 10 likes on today's live show, we're going to give away this dynamic blog to one of you guys, but we still don't have 10 likes. So I think I'm just leaving without giving away this blog. So yeah, it's all up to you guys. I'm gonna give you maybe 5 more minutes to see um, if we if we can give this away. So yeah, let me see. Let me check. Let me check our live stream if we have 10 likes or not before I leave. We have another comment on the chat from Kumar. Kumar says, yeah, I have seen, but just confirm for dynamic block. Thank you. Yeah, so like I just explained to you, we have 2 options for tags. Well, we have more, but so far the ones that I share in the channel. So this dynamic block and then the other one using multi-leaders. So yeah, pick the one that you that fits your needs, right? But great comment or question, Kumar. Kumar says also it helps a lot for time saving in many ways. Thanks a lot, sir. Have a great day. Yeah, thank you, Kumar. So I'm gonna check for the last time if we have 10 likes to do the contest to give away this block today before I wrap up today live stream, right? So let me go over here and see if we have. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna check live for the final time. See if we arrive. If we have. Let's see. So that's our live show right now. And yes, we have the 10 likes. That means we have a contest and we're gonna do it quickly, very simple. We're gonna give away our dynamic block that we created today. So let's um let's pick a winner to participate. All you need to do is say block on the chat. So just put block, type the word block, right? Like I'm gonna do it right now, block. Um, so if you want to participate, maybe you can uh, win this dynamic block, and I will personally email it to you, right? So you can save time in AutoCAD. So, yeah. So again, to participate, just say block on the chat. We're gonna give away this dynamic block that we created today to one of you guys. Normally, I only give away my dynamic blocks that we create to our Patreons or our YouTube members because they support our work, you know. But since we had a contest today, so we're gonna give this block away. So just say block on the chat and I'll pick randomly a winner. So I'll give you 5 minutes before we pick a winner and we finish today's live stream. So while you say block on the chat to participate and gain this block, we have another comment from Alan. Alan says, "Thank you. I learned with you." That's awesome, Alan, that you learned something useful today regarding AutoCAD, regarding dynamic blocks. So, Alan, if you want to gain this dynamic block, so I can email it to you. If you win, of course, just say block on the chat to participate. I'm gonna pick a random winner in maybe 3 minutes. I'm gonna give you some time to participate. um, so yeah, just say block on the chat. So far, Kumar wants to participate, wants to win this block. Uh, so Kumar says block. All right, 2 more minutes, guys. We have 8 people connected on the chat. So let me know if you want to win this block. Just say block on the chat. And while I'll prepare today's we're gonna do everything live again because that's better. That's more interaction, right? So I'm gonna use this tool over here to pick a winner from the comments. Uh, so this is today's live show. That's correct, and the word is gonna be block. So just say block on the chat to win this dynamic block that we created it today. I will email it to you. So yeah, so I'm gonna simply say block. That's the win word. And if we don't have, let's say we don't have more comments, so I'm gonna give you 1 more minute again to win today's dynamic block, right? So yeah, we have 7 people connected. That's awesome that you are still with me today. That means you enjoy the live show, you learn something, something useful, right? To save you some time, maybe save some effort, right? Because if you are working hard in AutoCAD, that's not right. There are more efficient ways to do things in AutoCAD, so this is your channel for that. So again, I think we are ready. If we're gonna give you 1 more minute. Just say blog on the chat to participate and win today's dynamic blog again that we created. Very simple, but it's very useful to keep things consistent and also save time in AutoCAD, right? So last call to participate on today's giveaway of this dynamic block. All right, so I think I'm ready to pick a winner. All right, so let's see if I'm using for the first time this tool, so let's see if it works. Hopefully it does, and if it does, we'll be having this type of contest each, maybe, I don't know if in all of our live shows, but every once in a while we will be having this type of contest. All right, so let's start. Let's see, so let's click on it, and we have block entries to draw. So okay, let's see. Oh, I'm in also on the content. I don't know how this thing works. Oh, since I did participate on the. No, I cannot be the winner. No, let's do it again. That's not. I was trying to demonstrate, right, how this works, but no, let's do it again. No, come on. Okay, so we only have 2 entries. So I think the winner is then so let me go over here. Let me do this in a different way. Okay, so since there were only 2 entries, myself and Kumar, you are automatically the winner. So yeah, Kumar, congratulations. I'm gonna email it to you today's dynamic blog, and just email me your information, right? Your email address. All of my information is on my YouTube channel, so you can go there and find, or also my email is lazyarquitecto@gmail.com, or you can again find all of my information on my page. But send me your email address, and I will personally email it to you, Kumar, today's dynamic blog. All right. So yeah, thank you, Kumar, for participating on the contest. And before we wrap up today's slideshow, I want to say thank you for supporting my work to my patrons and members. Because of you, I'm here doing these slideshows. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day. I'll see you in the next slideshow.